Okay, we're sitting here with Aronofsky, the director of Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, The Wrestler, and now Black Swan. Mr. Aronofsky, your films deal with the difference between reality and fiction. What is reality?
Well, I think once you point the camera at it, it's no longer real. And for me, I think what fiction is stories, and a story is usually about a character who is missing something in their life and go on a search to find it, and they either find it or they don't, and that's what a story is.
But your characters are this mix of reality and fiction. Mickey Rourke in Wrestler, he was living in the real world. He wanted to go into his dream world. In Black Swan, it's opposite. The same as in The Fountain somehow, and Requiem and Pi. So, what is so fascinating with mixing those two different realities? Let's say.
Well, I think most people assume when you're just hanging out in real life that everything's real. But in reality, when you're having a conversation with someone, your mind can be anywhere. Sometimes you're thinking about your grandma. Sometimes you're thinking about your childhood home. Sometimes you're thinking about what you're going to do later in the day. You know, it's very rare that you're actually present and in the moment and connecting with either the person or what's happening in front of you. And most of the time, we are sort of in a dream state. And so, you know, using the camera to sort of show what's happening inside, you know, is part of something I'm interested in.
And another motive of your films is, well, main characters are outside the main margin, let's say, main society, and that's why they are, well, different, better, worse, I don't know. What fascinates you with those characters that are not, I don't know how to say it, normal in some way? They're different from the main society.
I think most people are that way. I actually think I make films about very, very normal people. Very normal people in extreme circumstances. I think that's the only difference. I think most movies it's about, you know, these heroic figures and you know, extreme circumstances. This is normal people dealing with extreme stuff, and you know, then some people make stories about normal people in normal situations. But I think I try to heighten things and make things bigger because, you know, there is something great about, you know, just a really great drama played out in front of you, and there is something great about, you know, a superhero saving the world. But there's also something about mixing those two, where a normal person has to do something super heroic.
And all of those characters are, well, they are obsessed, they love, they fight, they quarrel, and, well, I assume by watching your films that it's a drug for them, that those emotions. Either it's a drug of choice or a drug somehow put on them. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I think, you know, in some ways anything could be a drug. That's what Requiem for a Dream was about. It could be, you know, the more serious drugs we know about, or it could be food, or it could be a dream. It's anything your mind gets attached to, that it sort of holds on to, that helps it to carry it through the day, to get through the darkness. And you know, someone said to me, breathing's a drug, which I don't think so, but anything really could become a drug for someone, and I think it's a lot of what motivates us, you know, that type of feeling. It's just when it becomes unhealthy is where it's a problem.
That's right. So where's the border between healthy and unhealthy?
Well, probably not to be fully, not to fulfill your days with that one sort of obsession, but to balance it with, you know, a nutritious, well-balanced diet of other things and other people and other places and other worlds.
Okay, you've said about your first three films that it's a trilogy, Mind, Body, and Spirit. So my question is, how does Black Swan inscribes itself into your career, and is it somehow an extension of this trilogy?
Well, no, I think Black Swan is very related to The Wrestler. So I think the trilogy is done, and now it's now a diptych between The Wrestler and Black Swan. The diptych about performance and performers.
In The Wrestler, it's the most ugly sport in the world, and in Black Swan it's ballet, so it's considered as the most beautiful, the most poetic. What's the connection here that you wanted to achieve?
Well, the fact that both athletes are very similar, their ambitions are similar. They use their body for their art. They put their body at risk for their art. They're both forced into retirement at a young age, and they both entertain using their body as their instrument. And I just thought that one happens to be the lowest art and one's the highest art was just interesting because of how similar what they do is.